Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's nice to see you all again. Well, I can't actually see you, but you know what I mean. So for this video, we are all about leg flexibility. So we'll be going through some basic yoga poses and stretches that are meant to promote and increase your leg flexibility. So for the sake of beginners, I have labeled the names of the poses we'll be going through. So just keep an eye out for those in the corners and just learn the poses as we go along. Okay, so we're starting off on the mat on our hands and knees in the tabletop position. So first pose we'll transition to the cow pose. So you're drawing your stomach in and pushing it down towards the ground. And then next we'll transition to the cat pose. So you're arching your back up, making your spine nice and round. Back down to cow pose. And arching your back up into cat pose. And then we are stepping back into the downward facing dog, keeping your feet flat on the ground, walking it out a bit. And we'll move now into the three-legged dog. So you're lifting up your right or left leg. If you can't get your leg straight above you, that's okay, go as far as you can. The goal is to get your leg as nice and straight above you. And holding it here for a few breaths. And taking it down. Same thing on the other leg. And back down. So for this next pose, we are going back up into the three-legged dog, but you're going to bring your knee down to your tricep, making sure your core is nice and tight for this. So your knee down to your tricep. And we're doing the same thing on the other leg. Bringing that knee down to your tricep. Knee to your tricep. And taking it back to downward facing dog. And then all the way down onto the mat into the relaxing child's pose. So next we'll be moving into the pigeon pose, working on opening up our hips and stretching our hamstrings. So you're bringing your right knee forward, keeping that front leg at an angle, toes pointed back towards the back leg, making sure your back leg is nice and straight, your heel pointing up towards the ceiling, toes pointed, and you're leaning forward down onto your forearms for a nice stretch. Let's try the king pigeon pose. So for this one, it's a little bit more challenging compared to the pigeon pose. So you are extending your front leg and placing it at a 90-degree angle, keeping your leg flat on the mat. If you feel any pain in your hips or knees, then just stick to the pigeon pose for now. So now we'll work on stretching our quads. That's the muscle in the front of your thighs. If this is as far as you can go, that's okay, but the more flexible you become, the closer you'll be able to bring your heel all the way down to your hips. So we'll do the same thing on the other leg, starting off in basic pigeon pose, keeping that back leg straight, bringing it forward onto your forearms. Oh, please excuse my random smiling and laughing. My dear assistant likes to make me laugh when we are recording. So for our next stretch, we are doing a forward lunge. So we are working on stretching our back quad muscle and our right leg hamstring. So making sure your knee is directly above your ankle. Make sure your knee doesn't pass your toes. So now we're going to do the lizard pose. So we're trying to get our forearms down all the way onto the mat. If you can't reach the mat, just keep your arms straight and go as far down as you can. With the lizard pose, really push down, leaning forward, making sure you can feel that stretch in your quad. We'll do the same thing on the other leg. If you can't go all the way down into the lizard pose, just keep your arms straight, pushing your hips forward. So now we are leaning back into a half split. So we are stretching the muscles in the back of our left leg, keeping that foot flexed, switching over to the other side. Now we are standing up off the mat into the warrior one position. So making sure your toes are pointing forwards. So for this position, your arms are supposed to be extended up over your head. It was my mistake for extending them outwards, but they're supposed to be up over your head. So for the warrior two position, you are changing your back foot and making it point outwards and not forwards. And you're really leaning forward onto your front leg. So the deeper you lean forward, the more you'll feel the stretch. Same thing on the other side. Warrior one position and then warrior two position. Okay, so for this next pose, we're coming all the way down onto the mat. We're going to work on stretching our hamstrings. Those are the muscles at the back of our legs. So we're working with the seated forward bend. So you're leaning all the way down, reaching for your toes. If you can't reach your toes, that's perfectly fine. Just go as far as you can. But the goal is to grab the back of your feet, placing your head all the way down onto your knees. And slowly bring it up. We'll do that once more. Hands all the way down to your feet. So for this next pose, we are lying all the way down on the mat. And we're going to work with reclining leg stretches. So you're bringing one leg up off the mat, grabbing onto your ankle, and pulling all the way, pulling your leg down towards your face. Stretching as far as you can, and we'll switch onto the other leg, making sure that the leg that's on your mat is as straight as possible. Other side, keeping that leg on the mat nice and straight, toes pointed. So for our last stretch, we are doing side lying leg lifts. So you're lying on your side on the mat, keeping the leg that's on the mat as straight as possible, and you are lifting up the other leg all the way up towards your head, keeping that one as straight as you can. We'll switch over to the other leg. Please remember that you are only as flexible as you want to be. So like anything in life, the more you work on it, the more you practice, the more flexible you will become. Final leg lift. And now we are getting onto the mat, flat on the mat, into Cobra Pose. So you're arching your back, extending your back as far as you can, and bringing it back to the relaxing child's pose. So before we go, I will show you how to use a cushion to work on your splits. So if you're brand new to doing the splits, I would suggest you use maybe 2 or 3 cushions. Doesn't matter really, which however many you want. So the point is to use the cushion to support your inner thigh muscles. That's where you feel the most stretch when you're doing the split. So you're going to split onto the cushion using it for support. Making sure your back leg is straight. And we'll try the other side. And then eventually we will work on doing the splits without the cushion. And finally, before we go, I will show you how to do the campus pose. So if you feel like testing out your flexibility after doing this video a few times, when you feel nice and warm, you can try the campus pose. So basically we are working on straightening our leg all the way up above our head. So you're bringing your right or left leg over and up onto your shoulder, and you're going to extend your leg all the way up nice and straight behind your shoulder, above your head. So this is something you can work on in your own time, in your own space, and I'm sure you'll get there eventually. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.